What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ziggy Doom, man. Pretty sure y'all know what's going on in America right now with all these riots and protests and looting, and it all stemmed from an unjust act by a police officer towards a black man. Now, it hit home for me. Every time it happens, you know, it hits home. It's just a reminder of police brutality and how the cops see us. But what really got me was when my daughter asked me about it. She said, "Dad, have you heard about George Floyd?" And I'm like, yeah, Destiny, I know. And she said, why did they do that to him, Daddy? Why didn't they let him up? Why did they keep him down there? He wasn't moving, he wasn't resisting. I said, Destiny, like I told you before, you know, people see us differently. They do. You know, they just see us differently. And she's worried because she know that there's riots in Arizona and her siblings are going to be moving there soon. And she said, Daddy, I don't want my brother and sister to move there, because what if the police do that to them? And I was speechless. I was literally speechless. I try to answer all the questions my kids have, but when she said that, I didn't have any answers, because I don't know what would happen if they were to do that to my daughter or my son. And as crazy as it sounds, you know, my children are preteens. I mean, the sad reality is it could actually happen to them by the cops, you know? And it's troubling, man. It's like people that are not black, right? That are not black don't really understand. They'll never understand why these kind of reactions happen to the actions of cops. Cops have always treated us differently. There's no debating, there's no disputing that. Cops have always treated black people differently, especially black men. I have been pulled over numerous times, and I've always fit the description to a police officer, you know. And I've recorded it, you know. I have some videos, I'll put the links in the description, but I've also had off-camera incidents with police officers in Chicago, in Tennessee, in Artesia, you know. And basically, all of it just tells me to not completely trust the police officers. I'm from Chicago. I grew up on the South Side, Inglewood, Chatham, 79th and Parnell, you know, drugs, guns, violence, all that, seen it all. And I never ever felt safer when a cop was around. I never felt safer. To this day, I do not feel safer when a police officer is around, ever. And that's kind of telling, you know. You're supposed to feel safer when they're around. I never have. Never have. So some people are saying that, you know, they shouldn't loot, they shouldn't riot, you know. Now I agree, you know. I'm not for looting and I'm not for rioting, but I can understand their frustration to a certain degree, because first of all, a protest is when something is done unjustly, right? That's why people protest. When something happens unjustly, you got people that protest. That's the whole point of it. So my response is, what is the correct way to protest? To people that say, oh, you shouldn't do this. What is the correct way to protest when someone has been treated unjust? Someone of your skin color, your skin complexion. And it's not one incident. You got to understand, these riots and protests are buildups of these things that continue to happen, and no justice is done for them. Now, how do you respond correctly to being treated incorrectly? I don't, you know. And to the people that give the you shouldn't riot, you shouldn't protest, you shouldn't do this, those are usually the main people that will never experience racial profiling. They don't know what it's like to be a black man, and get pulled over by a cop. They will never know. So how can you be the authority to give advice on how to handle the response, the reaction to being treated unjustly? That video that just came out with George Floyd, it's almost unanimous. I think I only know one person that said the cop didn't do nothing, you know, wrong. And that was a politician in Mississippi. And he getting all kind of backlash for that. Like, it's universal, it's wrong. And black people are just tired of it. Tired of it because there's never nothing done. Never. And how do you respond to being treated, once again, how do you respond correctly to being treated unjustly? And if you've never been treated unjustly and you're not a black man or a black person that has been treated unjustly and racially profiled, then your answer is going to be kind of moot. You know, it is. They didn't want Martin Luther King Jr. to protest with kids. You know, they always say, oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. Well, what are we supposed to do? What is the correct response? You know, cops are supposed to serve and protect, right? They serve and protect civilians. That's what they're supposed to do. But when you're not doing that, how do you expect somebody to say over and over repeatedly, oh, well, you know, maybe next time we'll get them? No, that people tired of that, tired of it. You know, cops are armed. You know, they have the right to go out and use those weapons because they're, you know, they have the badge. But it's still a correct way to do it. And it's an incorrect way to do it. And we just tired of them doing it incorrectly. And I can speak on this stuff because, like I said, I have been racially profiled 99% of the time I've gotten pulled over. I got videos. I got off-camera incidents. Anytime I've ran into the police officers in this small town, it's never went in my favor. Never. And I know race plays a role in it. The run-ins with the police. I know it does. No one can tell me, oh, it's just you tripping, Ziggy. It ain't like that. Yes, it is. Some people are in denial. You know, you got some people that really think that racism doesn't exist, or that maybe it won't happen to their kids if they're half black. You know, it's just, I'm not like that. I'm not delusional, you know, but every time I've ran into the police officers, I've always, you know, complied. I've never given them any reason to be aggressive towards me. You know, I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't have to get defensive. I already know the routine, you know, and I talked to my sons about it. My son got pulled over by a cop in this town just because he was walking down the street. And he fit the description. My son, walking. My other son, he likes to run from work. You know, and I tell him all the time, don't run at night. As silly as that may sound, because if the wrong person sees you and interprets it the wrong way, your life could be in danger. My son, I have to tell him not to run home from work, you know. So it's a real thing, you know. And I used to joke with my kids, my biracial children, because they always know, well, what do I identify with? Dad, do I identify with one side? Do I identify with my other side? Do I identify with both sides? And I tell them, I say, if you don't know what side to identify with, get pulled over by a cop, and they'll let you know exactly what color you are. You know, I joke with them about that, but it's a sad reality. You know, cops are, we can't trust cops. I say we black people, we cannot trust cops completely. And we're tired of being treated unjustly by the cops. We just tired of it. And at some point, you're going to act out. You're going to lash out. If there's an agreement in society, a non-spoken agreement in society that says you protect us and in return, we'll act accordingly. We'll follow the rules, right? But then when that gets broken, when the people that's supposed to protect don't do that to people that are innocent, the contract is broken. You know, the spoken agreement or the mutual agreement. You know, it's nothing written down, but we all know you go in the neighborhoods, you follow the rules, right? Something happens, you call the cops and they handle it accordingly. That's the unspoken rule. But when the cops not doing that, when they treating you unjustly and unfairly and profiling you, how you supposed to react to that? No one has the answer for that. And to all you people that say, what about black on black crime? What about black on black crime? Nobody seems to care about that. We do care about it. Y'all don't see it because it's not covered on the media. But you have people in these communities that have movements, and they want the police to come and help stop the violence, because that is what they're supposed to do. But guess what? Like in Chicago, only about 20% of cases up there ever get solved. So guess what? The black on black crime continues. So if you want to think that we just condone black on black crime, no, we don't. You're an idiot. Period. And most of the people that say this stuff don't know. They never been in a black neighborhood. They never grew up in a black community. They never been profiled, but they want to be the authority on giving advice and saying what should be done. No, you can't do that. And until you have been racially profiled, then no, you don't know what it's like. You don't. You know, there are some non-black people that are for the movement, you know, and I appreciate that, because we're all humans, and you shouldn't treat one human differently than another human just because of their skin. You shouldn't. There's no excuse for that. There is no excuse. Everybody's seen that George Floyd video, and like I said, I only know one person that actually was on the cop's side. One person. Go figure. It's just sickening. And it troubles me when my preteen daughter has to ask me that. Daddy, I don't think you should go out of town, because what if the police pull you over and do something to you? You know? It's exposed to my preteen daughter now. I can't hide it from her. And I don't really have the answer. And that's what troubles me. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. So it's unfortunate, the whole situation. But I do understand. I don't condone looting and rioting, but I understand when it does happen, because at some point we all have a breaking point, man. We all do. And as a black man who has been racially profiled, I know exactly where they're coming from. But cops have been ignorant towards me. I did not get ignorant towards them back, because I will not give a cop a reason to retaliate, because then it's over. I don't believe the justice system is going to be on my side. You know, they can bash us, they can talk down, they can profile us. But one thing they cannot do, they cannot take my intelligence. They cannot take that away from me. Brother Mouzon said it the best. Excuse my vulgarity here. But Brother Mouzon said it the best, you know. He said, what's the most dangerous thing in America? A nigga with a library card. And here's another thing about the profiling, you know. Racism exists too. There's people that really don't think that racism exists. There's people that really think it's not a thing. Racism is not a thing. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a scenario. This happened too. Remember the lady in the park who was walking her dog, and the black guy was in the park feeding the birds, and she felt threatened? She called the cops. What did she say when she called the cops? She said, I am a white woman, and I'm being threatened. I feel threatened by a black man. That was the code, and the cops instantly arrived. Now that should tell you right there how the hierarchy of people in this country, how it works. She got on that phone. She knew exactly. She knew if she said, I'm a white woman and I'm being threatened by a black man, the cops was instantly gonna come. Instantly. They even mock it in movies. Y'all seen Scream, where the woman was like, hey, I'm being attacked. And they said, okay, man, calm down. Then she said, it's by black men. The cops was instantly there. We can't make this stuff up. We cannot make this stuff up. This is a real thing. How we're viewed. Violent, aggressive, always wrong, unintelligent. Help, I'm a white woman feeling threatened by a black man. That's like that's some police code for hurry up and get here, I guess. And that's exactly what they did. It's ridiculous, man. But I'm just giving my take on it, man. If you've never been racially profiled, you know, if you're not black and these situations happen, you're not gonna completely understand why the reaction to them is the way it is. You know, you can't. We don't have that privilege that some people have. We don't. I still walk around and people either cross the street or clench their purses. I guess I come off as an intimidating thug to some people to this day. And I just mind my business, you know. But I do fit the description for cops. I just look like some, you know, typical black guy that's uneducated and violent and got a whole list of crimes, and that's unfortunate because none of that's true. So, but that's just my take on it, man. To the people that are rioting and looting, you know, ultimately, I understand why they're doing it, but that may not be the best way to retaliate. Because let me tell y'all, all the cop cars that's getting burned, and the police office or police stations that's getting burned and broke into, guess who gonna pay for that? Guess who got to pay for that? We do. Our tax dollars pay for that stuff. So in that sense, it's not really hurting the cops, because them cars you turn over and flip, we got to pay for that, man. So that may not be the best course of action, but something has to happen. Change has to happen. These cops have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. You know, there has to be some kind of balance. And until that balance happens, these kind of things are always going to happen. Unfortunately, there's going to be another George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. There's going to be more of these things, man. And the riots are going to continue. And I just really hope somewhere somebody just decides to make a change and get these cops together, man. And not all cops are bad. They not. I have relatives that are actual police officers. So not all cops are bad, but they need to really have a better system to weed out the bad ones and hold them accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I know they have a code of the badge, but they should not use that to protect guilty police officers. That's not right, man. That's not serving and protecting. That's not what that is, man. And until that happens, these incidents are going to continue. So that's my take on it, YouTube. Thank y'all for listening, man. Y'all be easy and just be safe out here, man. Just be safe. Be mindful, be safe. Take care of your family, and hopefully things will get better.